This evening, former Attorney General in hot water over stolen law books. Government appoints new board of directors at the National Communications Network. See how one local business continues to give back to the community. While protests of the private education tax continue, some unscrupulous retailers are using the situation to take advantage of parents and teachers. In the region, in St. Lucia, the debate for the post of Deputy House Speaker continues. And internationally, a man armed with knives is arrested near London's Parliament building.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Join us. Former Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal was on Thursday indicted on a charge of larceny of 14 Commonwealth law reports, valued at 2.3 million Guyana dollars. He was granted self-bail by Magistrate Fabio Azor and ordered to return to court on May 8, 2017. Andrew Weeks reports.
It was a day of hype among members of the press as former Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal was arrested by ranks of Suku in connection with the missing law books from the Legal Affairs Ministry. The 14 Commonwealth law reports in his possession is valued at Guyana 2.3 million, which he claimed he is the owner of for the years 2013 to 2015. Nandlal further stated that he said the Commonwealth law reports were acquired by him during his tenure as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs of Guyana as a condition of his service. He further stated that the law books belonged to him, even though it was paid by funds belonging to the Ministry of Legal Affairs. On Thursday, a battery of lawyers like Hanuman, Priyamanik Chan, Euclid Gomes, among others, flocked the courtroom to object to the charges and defend the former Attorney General. A number of PPC supporters also showed up. Lawyers were running from courtroom to courtroom as it seems. A number of magistrates were unable to hear the case at the time. This caused the lawyers to vent their disgust at the justice system and the David Granger administration.
So we are in limbo. We have no magistrate before whom we can go and ask for bail. And because it's in the court system, the Soku can argue that they are no longer in a position to grant bail. It's a very unfortunate situation. It is unlawful. Once a matter is filed in the court system and there's a sitting magistrate, that magistrate is duty-bound to hear the matter.
Former Minister and Attorney at Law Priyamanik Chan called out the government, saying,
if this could happen to Nandlal today, it could happen to any one of us tomorrow. And because I am calling out the Granger administration now for this unlawful, unjust, undemocratic move, don't be surprised if I am held tomorrow. We're prepared for it. We're asking you as members of the media to help us broadcast this unjust, illegal act that is happening here right now, that will result in a man's freedom being taken away from him, something he's guaranteed by our supreme law, the Constitution.
But Magistrate Fabio Azor decided to hear the case and said the charges stated that Nandlal obtained the property fraudulently and took or acquired the reports for his ownership. Prosecutor Henry said he is expecting two other statements. Defense lawyer Glenn Hanuman asked for self-bail, saying that it would be too late and difficult to find such a large amount of money that is acceptable downstairs at the magistrate's court. Hanuman asked that whatever statements are in possession of the prosecution be handed over. The defense lawyer asked Magistrate Azor to note that the Constitutional Court of the High Court has been called to determine the ownership of the law reports. Nandlal was later granted self-bail by Magistrate Fabio Azor and ordered to return to court on May 8, 2017 to answer to the charges. Andrew Weeks, Channel 2, Headline News.
On Wednesday, citizens gathered at the Ministry of the Presidency to protest the government's decision to apply VAT to private education. But this protest also reveals a disturbing trend amongst some vendors. Here's more. The Ministry of Finance's decision to apply a 14% value-added tax to private education tuition has caused widespread negative response. This Wednesday, several parents and students voiced their displeasure with the declaration, calling for the president to personally re-examine the tax measure.
We call on the government to immediately recant this toxic VAT on education, not to review it in 2018.
Many of the protesters expressed the view that the concept of a tax on private education is unique to Guyana. Also, it is too onerous for them to take on. One protester had a unique way of describing his sentiments towards this year's added tax measures.
You see, but these additional taxes, VAT on water, electricity, and especially education, are an abuse to our people. It's extortion, it's ignominy, and it's a shame and a disgrace for a government to overtax its people. We are all reeling in a drunken manner from all this intoxication.
The protests have been held weekly at various ministries throughout the city. While these VAT protests continue to be smaller and not as popular as the movement against parking meters, this concerned citizen is unfazed by the turnout. How do you feel about that?
That does not bother me. It does not bother me at all. Even if it's two of us, it doesn't matter. Once the message is being sent.
While the actual protesters are few, those who are upset with the VAT are many. Adding fuel to the fire of public resentment is the fact that there is confusion over which items are zero-rated.
You've increased all zero-rated items to 14%, which is a heavier burden on the people. And this includes all school materials, which public and private students have to pay.
VAT still applies to the materials that they use in the public schools.
These gentlemen express a common misconception. It is true that a tax will be applied to private education. Unfortunately, many citizens are unaware that in February of this month, Minister of Finance Winston Jordan announced that all educational items will remain zero-rated, saying, quote, "Please note that the entire list of educational materials in the previous schedule has been retained in the new schedule. This is important because there has been idle talk of geometry sets, dividers, and textbooks, among others, now attracting VAT. This is totally false, as can be easily referenced from the exempt list that was published on a number of occasions in all of the dailies." Despite this published fact, certain unscrupulous retailers have been taking advantage of uninformed, well-meaning parents nationwide. Since the announcement of a reshuffling of the zero-rated items list, some vendors have applied VAT to educational items. The collection of this tax is a clear violation of the law, as such items are not to attract VAT. We urge viewers to not allow themselves to become victims of price gouging. Always observe your receipt when purchasing educational items. Inform the authorities of businesses who are tax scamming educational items. For a complete list of the zero-rated educational items, please visit the website of the Guyana Revenue Authority. Don't go away. Coming up on Headline News after the break, government appoints new NCN board, and Party Castle brings smiles to the children of all Boys Town.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
It's always fresh, tasty, enticing, and the best in town. Served hot from our experienced chefs. Come and enjoy our daily meals with a wide and delicious menu to choose from. Also a wide variety of pastries and dessert. We can also host your luncheons, cocktails, parties, and formal gathering. For reservation, call 225-1730, 225-0038, and delivery 225-0195 or 225-0159. The new thriving Chinese restaurant, 32 Main Street, Georgetown.
I've been really Yes, let's get it on. Total U Plus is introducing the bridal collection. We sell bridal gowns with over 150 styles to choose from, including bridal gowns for Muslim brides. We also sell bride and bridesmaid gloves, tiaras, petals, flower girl baskets, bridal pins, just married signs for vehicles, guest books and pens, aisle runners, veils, table placement holders, garters. Yes, the complete collection. Come see our bridal display in store. Total U Plus Bridal Collection. Froggity's Mall, booth number 16. Let's get it on.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
Veteran broadcaster and ministerial advisor on public telecommunications, Enrico Wolford, has been appointed to head the new board of the state-owned National Communications Network. Andrew Weeks reports that Cabinet Secretary and Minister of State Joseph Harmon conveyed this message to the press on Thursday at his weekly post-cabinet media briefing.
New life and vigor will be injected into the management of the state-run media entity, NCN, as the new chair, veteran broadcaster Enrico Wolford, will head the new board along with a number of popular journalists, including Gordon Mosley, head of News Source, and Beverly Alert, head of GINA. The board will serve for 1 year beginning next month, says Cabinet Secretary Joseph Harmon, as he announced the full makeup of the board.
The appointment of a board of directors of the National Communication Network was also approved. Directors appointed were Mr. Enrico Wolford, Chairman, Mrs. Beverly Alert, Mrs. Margaret Lawrence, Mr. Gordon Mosley, Mr. Michael Leonard, Mrs. Kamal Prasad, and Mr. Dean Gobing. The board will serve from May 21st, 2017 to April 30th, 2018.
Minister Harmon also stated that he expects the new board will do good for the people of Guyana, knowing that there had been a number of social issues where the management of NCN handled poorly that caused a big uproar in the press last year. Case in point, that famous Natasha Smith incident where she was forced off the air because of her pregnancy by the current CEO, Lennox Cornett.
Well, I would expect the new board will look at policy and the guidelines that they will receive with respect to ensuring that the entity operates as an entity that provides information to the Guyanese public, that the information is timely, it is accurate, and that it is something that the Guyanese people can look forward to, relying on the information provided by the NCN. But of course, they're a board and they are not the management of the NCN. And so generally, sometimes boards need to understand that they're policy and they drive policy and they're not day-to-day management. So in providing this quality of personnel to the board, we're expecting that the policy of the NCN, insofar as providing public information, providing it on a timely basis, will be strengthened, that the questions of transparency, the questions of accountability will all be enforced.
When the question was asked by one of the reporters of NCN about political interference, knowing that under the former PPC government it was a norm, Harmon said,
well, I trust that the board will be guided by what they have actually seen. the fact that this APNU AFC administration, that we are about inclusiveness, that we are about providing information to the Guyanese public that affects them, like someone on the TV station that think they have something, information that you need to know. This is what you need to know, and so the Guyanese people information that the Guyanese people need to know. It's provided on a timely basis that you have informed discussions, analysis on issues that affect Guyanese on a daily basis, analysis of projections and so on as to what our country is going to be like. Things like that, that really the National Communication Agency should be providing, because it is national in nature and not partisan politically, or doesn't cater to one geographic constituency.
Prior to the expiration of the last board, its chairman, Bish Pandey, had resigned and several other board members had been absent from numerous meetings. Andrew Weeks, Channel 2, Headline News.
Thanks, Andrew. The mayor and city councilors are determined to get it right the second time around. On Wednesday, the MNCC approved a 7-member team to negotiate a revised parking meter contract with Smart City Solutions. This in keeping with the wishes of central government. Malcolm Ferreira was appointed chair of the group. The others are Vice Chair Noel Chow Chi, Carlisle Goring, Tricia Richards, Ivlaw Henry, Rubnarayan Ron Prasad, and Heston Bostwick. Prasad has long opposed the introduction of parking meters, especially by foreign investors, and has suggested alternative revenue-generating measures for the municipality. Demerara Waves Online was told that the negotiators will hold their first in-house meeting on Friday as part of preparations to meet with their Smart City Solutions counterparts. The team has been mandated to return to the full council with the outcome of its negotiations. Those who are noticeably absent from the new committee are the principal negotiators of the original contract, City Mayor Patricia Chase Green, Chairman of the Finance Committee Oscar Clark, Junior Garrett, and Town Clerk Royston King have been purposely excluded from the group. The intention is to put a completely fresh set of people on the matter with hopes of better conditions for the contract. One Georgetown business continues a yearly tradition of bringing smiles to disadvantaged children of the city. Here's more.
We are here to give back to the community and continue as often as we can to encourage these kids that their sky's the limit.
On Tuesday afternoon, local party supply company, Party Castle, distributed bags of school supplies and toys to children in Allboys Town. Sisters Diane and Roxanne Innes, owners of Party Castle, have made distributing school supplies a yearly tradition for the company.
This is annual activities. We've been doing it for the past 5 years.
The Innes sisters hold such an affinity for Allboys Town for one simple reason. It's where they were raised.
This is where we come from. This is what we know. Guyana is a beautiful country and we just want to give back. Guyana gave us a lot of things that we grew up on and we still have in our mind, our tradition, and we just want to give back to this community.
Though the family may have moved away from the community, they will never forget where they came from. As such, they promise to continue to advocate for their neighborhood.
There's a lot of talent that I see in this area, but these kids need a voice for them, and we're the voice for them.
Don't go away. Still ahead, we have our regional and international news.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook, Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
Now opened, the new thriving Chinese restaurant Providence location. Perfect for large events, exquisite menus featuring traditional Korean, Chinese and Western cuisine, elegant grand dining room and seats for over 500 persons. Also additional seating on the upper flat, luxurious VIP rooms and an elevator for your comfort. The new thriving Chinese restaurant second location above Massey Supermarket, Amazonian Mall, Providence. For reservation call 623-4097 or 657-9067.
In news from the region now, in St. Lucia, another session of Parliament has opened and the House Speaker, Leonie Theodore John, is still without a deputy. The Deputy Speaker debate has raged on since the first session of the 11th Parliament last June. HTS News Force reports.
I beg to nominate Sarah Flood-Bobrin, member from Castries Central.
Last summer, the government side first selected Castries Central MP Sarah Flood-Bobrin, but by the time the second sitting arrived, she had resigned to take up the position of Minister in the Ministry of External Affairs. Since then, there has been no Deputy Speaker.
Honourable members, please elect your Deputy Speaker. I now call on you members to elect your Deputy Speaker. Honourable members, please elect your Deputy Speaker. For the third and final time, I am calling on honourable members of this House to elect a Deputy Speaker.
With every sitting, House Speaker John has asked either side of the chamber to nominate someone to preside in her absence. The results have all been the same, with no side of the House willing to budge.
I would like to nominate the member for Beaufort South.
Madam Speaker, I am honoured that the member for Groseray, who has at least less experience than I have had in parliamentary matters, would be so generous and kind to nominate me for the position of Deputy Speaker. But of course, Madam Speaker, it is with alacrity that I decline his generosity.
The opposition has declared their intention to take the matter before the courts. Prior to the commencement of the second session of the 11th Parliament, Speaker John was asked her expectations where the appointment of a deputy is concerned.
I have no idea. I will go through the drill. Let's see what bites.
Do you want a deputy speaker?
Of course I want a deputy speaker, and there needs to be a deputy. As it is, the situation, it is not for me to determine. I can ask for a deputy. The Constitution mandates a deputy. The standing orders of the House mandates a deputy speaker, but for some reason there is no deputy.
It has been speculated that Soufriere MP Herod Stanislaus, who accompanied Speaker John to the UK to observe and become familiar with parliamentary procedure, was tipped to become the new Deputy Speaker. The House Speaker put those claims to rest.
The training has had nothing to do with training of deputies or speakers of parliament. It was exposing us to a wide range of different issues. We met with various groups. We met with the clerk of the parliament, the various clerks, the various departments, how parliament works. So it was ongoing training on parliamentary procedure and how to run the office of the parliament even better. I returned on Sunday only to be told that in the media there is rumors that Minister Stanislaus went up to be trained. I do not know where that is coming from, and I do not know anything about that.
Meanwhile, former Senate President Claudius Francis sounded off on the Deputy Speaker issue as well.
My expectations have been very clear all along. I've told you guys in the media that you're going to scrutinize around the issue. The issue has nothing to do with either the Prime Minister
or the leader of the opposition not nominating anybody, and falls squarely in the lap of the Speaker, who is not doing her job as a presiding officer to ensure that there is a deputy in place whenever the House meets.
The Speaker did say to us that she wants a Deputy Speaker. We interviewed her just a while ago.
The Speaker says a lot of things about wanting a Deputy Speaker. She has said that from day one. What has she done except go through the motions of simply saying we shall elect a Deputy Speaker now, knowing full well nothing has happened, and then proceed to the business of the House as if nothing has happened?
Notwithstanding his criticism, the former Senate president did exchange pleasantries with and embraced the current Speaker of the House of Assembly. Miguel Fabry, HTS News Force.
It is not convenient for this honorable House at this sitting to elect a deputy, and so the business of the House will continue.
And internationally, a man carrying knives near the Houses of Parliament has been wrestled to the ground by armed police and arrested on suspicion of terrorism offenses. The man, thought to be 27, was detained as part of an intelligence-led operation on Parliament Street. A witness described seeing 2 knives on the ground, one of which he described as a large bread knife. The Metropolitan Police said there were no injuries. The suspect is in custody in a South London police station. BBC News reports.
It's mid-afternoon in the heart of Westminster. These armed officers are in the midst of an urgent operation just a few hundred metres from Parliament. Pinned to the ground is a man dressed all in black with a backpack beside him. Witnesses said they'd seen knives on the ground. The police said the man had been stopped and searched as part of an ongoing operation. He's arrested and led away, his right hand apparently bandaged. After being bundled into a car, the man is driven off in a police convoy with hundreds of bystanders looking on. In a statement, the Metropolitan Police said the man, aged in his late 20s, was arrested on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon and on suspicion of the commission, preparation and instigation of acts of terrorism. Knives have been recovered from him. He's being detained under the Terrorism Act and is in custody in a South London police station. Despite the chilling echoes of last month's attack on Parliament, there were no injuries reported in Westminster today. The crowd seemed more curious than fearful. One lane of Whitehall remained cordoned off for an hour as officers in forensic suits examined the scene. Several knives could be seen on the ground, as well as what appeared to be a mobile phone and the backpack. Each item was photographed and taken away as the investigation continues.
Our police and our intelligence and security services are on the alert, as they always are, looking to keep us safe and secure. And I would say we owe a huge debt of gratitude to these people, many of whom are unseen, unheard, yet the job they do day in, day out to keep us secure is a really important one.
Westminster was getting back to normal this afternoon. The incident was over comparatively quickly, and police say there is no other known threat. Richard Lister, BBC News.
And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and safetvguyana.com. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Friday evening at 6 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed evening.